Hey there. So I just got back from Star Wars Celebration a couple of days ago and wanted to put together a quick video just kind of recapping some of the experience as well as some of the impressions for someone who is attending something like this for the first time. So, for those unfamiliar, Star Wars Celebration is kind of like, a big convention like Comic Con, except it's exclusively Star Wars. And so, you've got thousands of people coming together to celebrate all things Star Wars, and then you have all kinds of big announcements from, Disney and Lucasfilm, as well as all kinds of great merchandise that you can buy all in one place. So the convention this year was held in the United Kingdom over the course of 4 days. And with the way my schedule lined up and, traveling internationally, I was able to attend for 2 of those days, the first one and the third one. And then the rest of the time I was off, exploring London and kind of the surrounding area. But to give you kind of an idea, I was really blown away just by the scale of this, of having this many people together all in one place, all really just kind of celebrating the same thing. And I think that was my favorite part, is just being among, all of these super fans. There wasn't any of this, cynicism. There wasn't any of this, well, I like the prequels. Well, I like the sequels. It was just a lot of people together, really just having a good time about, the things that they enjoy, that they're passionate about. And so while you're attending Celebration, there's a lot of different things you can do. There's all kinds of different merchandise booths. They have all kinds of different panels that you can attend, some that are moderated and attended by, the stars of the different films, and then some that are actually moderated by fans for more specific or niche topics. And for those panels, I actually had the opportunity to attend a couple of them. The first was the Lucasfilm Showcase panel, and this is kind of the one where they announce and show all of the different trailers, all of the big news. So it's attended by, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and then for this particular time around, you had people pop in and out like, Diego Luna or Daisy Ridley. And when they have these panels, there's 3 main stages that they had. There was the big celebration stage, and this is where, it's taking place live. The stars are actually there up on the stage. And then they have 2 other locations that are just kind of like, they have a live feed. And so there's a big screen, and you're able to kind of sit in almost some overflow sitting to still watch things. And so for the really big panels, that celebration stage is really competitive to get into. There's a random lottery that took place a couple of weeks before the event. And for that Lucasfilm panel, I unfortunately wasn't able to get in. And to be honest, wasn't planning on attending, as I knew it was going to be super busy. And I just figured, let me get to the show floor. I'll just kind of explore around. That's going to be the first big thing. And while everyone's attending that, I'll check everything else out. And I was just following some different, groups. It seemed like there was a line that was sneaking ahead of me. So I was like, I'll see where these people are going. I accidentally stumbled through the exit into one of the overflow stages. And so I was kind of just like, all right, well, I guess I'm here. And I was actually able to watch that Lucasfilm panel from the Galaxy stage, this overflow. See some of the sneak peeks of Andor Season 2, of Skeleton Crew and Ahsoka, and really just hear, like all the cheers when Chopper and Hera came on screen. Really special moment that just kind of came about accidentally, entering through the exit section. I also had the chance to attend a kind of like a making of Season 1 of Andor panel, and that had Tony Gilroy, the big showrunner and the writer. It had Diego Luna, as well as, key members of the production staff, costume design and visual effects. So really cool to kind of see them talk about, some of the behind the scenes work and kind of this interconnectedness that goes into making a production, of that size and scale. And for the last panel I was able to attend, I was actually able to get through the lottery onto the celebration stage to see a Villains of the Sequel Trilogy panel. And that panel was moderated by Amy Ratcliffe and featured Gwendolyn Christie, Andy Serkis, as well as Ian McDiarmid as Captain Phasma, Supreme Leader Snoke, and Emperor Palpatine. So really cool to see them kind of talking about their characters, what they were looking to embody and what those all represented both as characters and then to them personally as actors and actresses. So really cool just to see these different panels, to see people talking about this, and then to just kind of feel this, electricity in the room, as there were so many big fans. Outside of those panels, I did a lot of exploring on kind of the main exhibition floor, as they had, dozens of different vendors who were selling, every Star Wars thing that you could possibly conceive of. Everything from, clothes to toys to, super vintage merchandise to even cutting edge and, stuff that hadn't even been released yet. So really cool to just kind of walk up and down to see the different booths. Hasbro had a big booth there, so I had a chance to, see some of the new and upcoming products, take some different pictures as well as videos. So that was super cool to see in person. Jazwares, who's making the new Micro Machines lines, had presence there, and they were doing, new reveals and showcasing all the stuff that had come out recently. So had a great time seeing that, as I grew up with those different Micro Machines. And then as a primarily, Star Wars Black Series collector, it was just super cool to see, all the merchandise that everyone had going back to the very beginning of the line, to even some of this stuff here that isn't, widely available in the States for both Star Wars as well as Indiana Jones. So I told myself I wasn't going to pick any of that up, as you can usually find it, within stores, but I'm a weak man, and the marketing was pretty strong. So I was able to pick up a new Cal Kestis, as well as the HK-87 figure that appeared in the Ahsoka trailer. Totally broke down when I saw the trailer, so they got me there. And then I was also able to pick up kind of a deep cut here. It's Kazim from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Definitely love this character, kind of a niche background, but he's got a lot of cool accessories. So it was definitely cool to grab that. On the vintage side of things, I also picked up this vintage R2-D2. I believe it was released back in '78. I'm not a big vintage collector, but something I kind of wanted to try to do is whenever I'm at these in-person events is maybe just pick up, one vintage character every time you're there in person. So it's kind of a special thing. So I picked up R2 here, and I might try to do that as I attend things in the future here. But all kinds of stuff that was on display. They'd have these huge bins that you would comb through of all these original vintage figures. As well as some vendors who had, the original figures, still in those protector bubbles. They hadn't been touched since the late '70s, and those were going for, sometimes thousands of dollars each. So definitely well out of my price range, not my collecting niche, but definitely still fun to see that kind of stuff. And then on the merch side of things, the last thing they had was like a unique Star Wars Celebration storefront. So this was like the official store that you could go to for the whole event. And they had all kinds of great kind of exclusive merchandise. I've got a picture up here on the screen of a couple of the different shirts that I picked up. I got like a Max Rebo plush, which I thought was super fun, as well as like a mug and some different random things. But it was really cool to kind of see this specially marketed, this was, Celebration Europe exclusive stuff. So I picked up a couple of goodies here, and that was kind of fun. So for the 2 days I was attending, those were kind of the big things for me, were those panels, as well as just exploring all of the different booths, as well as the merchandise that they had available. But there was all kinds of other stuff going on. There were meetups and kind of like after parties. And it was really just awesome to be in a place where, everyone was so friendly, everyone was so accepting. I mean, growing up for me, Star Wars was not a cool thing. You get your ass kicked when you talked about stormtroopers or whatever. And to have such a reversal of that, to just feel almost kind of giddy, just kind of like a kid again amongst all of this, to have this excitement. It's not something I get very often as a full-grown adult with a 9-to-5 office job. So in that way, it was definitely a really special experience for me. It definitely wasn't a cheap one. And I might do another video on this just to see and to kind of break down, here's what it costs to attend something like this. Just so people can get a better picture of that if they want to attend the next one that'll be held in Japan in a couple of years. But for me, kind of totaling the finances, but in reflecting on the experience, it definitely was worth it. Definitely kind of a special life-changing thing. And so if you have the opportunity, if you've got the money saved up, I definitely recommend, making the effort to attend one of these, as it's definitely, I think, a really special thing. So that was Celebration for me. I'm excited, looking back through all of this footage, just kind of reflecting on the memories. But I'm also really excited for a lot of the new stuff that they announced. There's a lot of cool new, Black Series content. It was cool seeing, new Indiana Jones trailers. And of course, our new, Star Wars movies and shows. It really is, I think, a great time to be a Star Wars fan. So I'm super excited to see everything else that it's going to be coming out. And I hope everyone else is kind of feeling the same way, that there is that excitement again, that fervor. So definitely, grateful for the chance to have attended and really looking forward to the next couple of years of Star Wars here.